Moondrop could not have made a TWS worse than this. Let me explain. After the epic success of $25 Moondrop space travel, the expectations for Moondrop Golden Ages were sky high, especially with the implementation of planar magnetic drivers. I ordered them on the first day of release and I got them in the April first week. I tested them throughout the April, but instead of new era of audio, I got disappointment. Let me break it down for you in the good, the bad, and the ugly fashion. And obviously, detailed sound in the end. Wait for the ugly one, it is literally a deal breaker. Let's start with the good. And the first thing that everyone noticed on these TWS is going to be design. The design is retro inspired with cool shades of grey blue with a pop of vibrant orange, topped with an old cassette player on the top of case. The earbuds match these vibes perfectly. But this design is going to be a preference game. Personally, I prefer my TWS to be clean and minimal, and I'm going to keep it as a showpiece only. It's a very busy design with lots of nostalgia on it, so while it is going to give you some happiness, it is definitely not for everyone. Now moving on to controls. Controls on these TWS are good. They work almost every time. They are minimal as well. In the app itself, you get all the options and you can customize them according to your needs. However, they are tad bit sensitive. Whenever you're adjusting the TWS, they tend to get activated. The good thing is these TWS fits very well and are very comfortable to wear, so you're not going to adjust them a lot. Another good part about these TWS is their transparency mode. It was natural enough for everything. I tried them in various settings and I had no problem with them except one. That is, they get a little louder in certain conditions, like let's say some busy music is going on the television or you are into a huge traffic, they tend to get really loud on those trebly peak ranges, and especially those trebly part are a bit processed as well. Talking about loud, we had one problem with Moondrop space travel, that they didn't get loud enough. Well, this is not going to be an issue with your Moondrop Golden Ages. They get very loud very easily. Most of the time, I tested them hardly at 30% volume. At 30%, they get really loud. I would not even suggest you to go to 40 or 50%. They are very loud TWS. And that's it about the good part for Moondrop Golden Ages. Alright, let's spice up the critique. Talking about the bad, let's talk about the build quality on these TWS, and I must say it's a plastic jungle out there. There's no escaping the fact that the build quality screams cheap from every angle. The case and the buds themselves lack that premium feel you would expect, especially given their price tag. It's a bit of a letdown considering the competition in this price range is doing fantastic. And don't even get me started on what's missing. It's like they forgot to add any essential bells and whistles there. Where's the wear sensor? Where's dual pairing? These are practically standard features nowadays in TWS, even for the $20 segment, that is 2000 INR. It's like buying a car without AC and infotainment. Now let's talk about ANC. It's not up to par. Sure, it might do an okay job with your lower frequencies, but for the most parts, it's useless. Most of the frequency spectrum still remain unaffected. But wait, there's more. Brace yourself for the ugly truth. LDAC, oh LDAC, what a disappointment on these TWS. When you're listening to the music, without LDAC, they're good. But the moment you flick that LDAC switch, brace yourself for some bass disaster. In James Blake Limit to Your Love, when the bass barrage comes, it feels like someone staggering a cloth or a carpet. It's that bad. You can practically perceive the diaphragm moving and struggling to keep up with the bass. And don't even get me started on the battery. I activated LDAC, and before I knew it, the battery was poof. It was hardly alive for, I would say, around 2.5 hours. That's it. Do let me know if any of you have these issues with these TWS, or I am the only one who faced these issues. because these are some serious issues with these TWS. Now let's talk about the case cover as well. Putting it on was a mistake I'm never going to repeat. It took me half an hour to pry it off the case. It was so tight, I was afraid I will break the case. It's such a flimsy case as well. It was a nightmare. I was scared I'm going to break the case. I will not be able to review them. It was a disaster. And as for the app, let's just say my thoughts from Moondrop May review still stands. It's that one word again, buggy, especially the Apple version, which might as well be labeled as unusable, and the firmware updates. First, they were nowhere to be found. Then suddenly 3 versions popped up, and guess what? It didn't work. It gets stuck on the initialization, and I'm still on 1.0.0. Oh, and the mic quality. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it. It's a $80 TWS. Not a single call was tolerable on these TWS. Not a single one. Talking about one tech nightmare. However, let's just talk about sound because that is something we knew it is going to be good. However, is it? Let's find out. All the impression of the sound are based on AAC and not on LDAC, because as I explained in the ugly section about the bass. So on AAC, I would say these sound almost exactly like Moondrop Space Travel, with a slight difference in mid bass and upper treble. So let's discuss in detail, starting with the bass. Bass on Golden Ages is good, with some thump and rumble present in the bass, and you feel it in all the songs. It has a bass head preset as well, which does not change much. On the graph, it looks like bass is enhanced, however, in practicality, I don't feel it. If you listen to the song Sadness Part 1, around 13 seconds the bass comes. The thump is there, however, it's not a very satisfying bass or a very voluminous bass. So I would say bass is good, however still on the average side. Now talking about the mids. Mids are the best part of these TWS. The mid range is clear and present. The overall separation and layering is outstanding. However, I did not like the timbre on these TWS, and the overall vocals are a little bit dull as well. Treble is also on a little bit of darker side in Golden Ages. It lacks the sparkle and a little bit of detail in the treble region. The overall take on treble in Golden Ages is about smoothness, which ultimately hurt the timbre in the mids as well. If you listen to Red Light Zone by Colonia, the sparkle in the treble region is barely there. However, when it comes to detail and imaging, Moondrop Golden Ages have fair bit of details with them, with a very good accuracy in terms of imaging, even in those busy tracks. This is where you see the planar drivers working their magic. However, when it comes to soundstage, I would say it is okay. It gives you that sense of stage, however it is not very wide, but it is satisfactory. Where these TWS works best is rhythm and timing. Well, it is Moondrop, and their tuning kind of always works for rhythm and timing, and it worked here as well. It portrays the physicality of the music and the emotions in the music very well. But the dynamic range is bad. They sound really good on high volumes, however on low volumes, they lose the body of the music, and the thump is just negligible. In all honesty, these TWS don't live up to the hype in terms of sound quality as well. When you stack them up against competitors like Samsung Buds FE, Soundcore Liberty 4NC or Nothing Ears, they fall short in every aspect, not just sound. From my side, Golden Ages do not get recommendation. I'm not going to rate them since I'm not sure about the LDAC issue yet, so I might rate them in future. Well, this was quite a negative experience I had with Moondrop this time. I hope they improve in future. Moondrop, if you're listening to this, work on your app or stop marketing TWS and DSP products. Now that Miad is out as well, you need to work on it. Well, this was it for Moondrop Golden Ages from my side. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. I will see you on the next one.